Hello and welcome back to the Old Charles. Today, we're diving into the pockets of history to examine a coin that nearly every Canadian of a certain age has held, spent, and probably lost behind the couch cushions. It's the humble 1-cent piece, and specifically, we're asking the question, what is a 1978 Canadian penny worth? If you just shouted 1 cent at your screen, you're technically correct. But in the world of numismatics, the answer is almost never that simple. So, is that jar of old pennies in your closet a secret treasure trove, or just a heavy collection of copper memories? Let's find out. To put that in perspective, that's more than 1 penny for every single person living in Canada at the time. They are, without a doubt, one of the most common dates in the entire Canadian penny series. So, from a purely statistical standpoint, rarity is not on our side. Now, let's talk about what it's made of. Pre-1980, the penny was 95% copper, 5% zinc. In 1980, they switched to a 98% zinc core with a thin copper plating to save money, as the price of copper rose. This is crucial. That 1978 penny you're holding is a solid, old-school copper coin. It has a distinct weight and ring to it that the later plated coins lack. So, with over 435 million minted, and most of them being copper, what does that mean for its value? Let's break it down into 3 categories: the basement find, the collector's prize, and the metal melter. This is where 99.9% of all 1978 pennies live. These are the coins that saw years of circulation. They're scratched, tarnished, maybe a little dirty, and the details like the Queen's portrait or the maple leaves on the reverse are worn smooth. For a penny in this condition, the value is, frankly, face value. 1 cent. Or, since the penny was officially discontinued in 2013, it's technically worth nothing as legal tender. You can't spend it. However, because of its copper content, it does have a value as a metal. As of recording this video, the spot price of copper is around, insert current price per pound/gram. A 1978 penny weighs about 3.24 grams. Doing the math, the raw copper value of a 1978 penny is currently about 2 to 3 cents. Now, before you get too excited, it is illegal to melt down Canadian currency for its metal content. So, you can't legally turn your jar of pennies into a bar of copper. However, this melt value sets a theoretical floor for the coin and makes it attractive to metal hoarders who save them for a potential future where the laws might change or the metal value skyrockets. So, a typical circulated 1978 penny is worth about 2 to 3 cents for its metal, but don't quit your day job to sort through them just yet. This is where things get interesting. While a worn penny is common, a 1978 penny that has never been circulated, known as a mint state coin, is a different story. These coins retain their original red luster, full details, and have no wear. For a 1978 penny in mint state 60 ms 60 to mint state 63 ms 63 condition, you might be looking at a value between $1 and $5. In higher grades, like ms 65 or above, that value can jump to $10, $20, or even more, depending on the color and eye appeal. A brilliant, fully red coin is always more valuable than a brown one. But wait, there's more. The true holy grail for any date is finding an error or a variety. For the 1978 penny, there is one notable, though not extremely rare, variety to look for. It's called the 1978 pointed 8 or sharp tail 8 variety. Look at the number 8 in the date. On most 1978 pennies, the top and bottom loops of the 8 are round and blob-like, but on the variety, the 8 has distinct, sharp points on the upper and lower right serifs, making it look more precise. This variety was created by a slightly different die used during minting. It's not a massive fortune, but a circulated, pointed 8, might be worth $2 to $5, and an uncirculated one could fetch $15 to $30 or more. It's a fantastic coin for a variety set and definitely worth checking your jars for. Finally, for the serious collector, the mint also sold special sets directly to the public. The 1978 specimen set features coins that were struck with special polished dies on polished planchets, giving them a gorgeous, mirror-like finish. These were not meant for circulation. They are the pinnacle of quality for that year. A 1978 penny from a specimen set, in its pristine, original packaging, can be worth $15 to $30 on its own, and the complete set is, of course, worth more. Proof-like specimen $15 to $30. For the vast majority of you, the 1978 penny is a common piece of history, a relic of a bygone era of cash transactions. It's not a retirement plan. But, it's a perfect coin to start learning about numismatics. It teaches you about mintage numbers, composition, grading, and die varieties. So, the next time you find one, don't just dismiss it. Take a closer look. Check the date, check the ate, appreciate its copper heft. It might not buy you a coffee, but it offers a small, tangible connection to Canada's economic history. And who knows? Maybe you'll find that pointed 8.4 over 150 years, the 1-cent piece, the penny, was a fixture of Canadian life. It was the coin of lemonade stands, the change in your pocket, and the subject of the phrase, a penny for your thoughts. Today, it's a discontinued relic, a heavy memory in jars and drawers. This is the story of Canada's smallest coin, its birth, its long life, its changing face, and its final farewell, with the province of Canada, modern-day Ontario and Quebec, pushing for order. The first official Canadian decimal coins were introduced in 1858. The 1-cent coin was the workhorse of this new system, the 1859 mystery ***. Interestingly, some 1859 dated pennies were actually struck in 1879 and 1880 using old dies, creating a fascinating numismatic puzzle. The large, heavy cent served Canada for over 60 years. But after World War I, the price of copper had risen so much that the metal in the penny was worth more than 1 cent. Minting them was becoming a money-losing proposition. In 1920, the mint introduced the small cent, reducing the diameter and, more importantly, changing the composition. It was now 95.5% copper, 3% tin, and 1.5% zinc. A slightly different blend, but the key was the size and weight reduction, which brought the cost of production below face value. His portrait evolved, and during the Great Depression, the coin's composition was briefly changed to 98% copper, 0.5% tin, 1.5% zinc, 1937 to 1942, to save costs. His portrait debuted in 1937, the same year the maple leaves on the reverse were twinned on a single stem, a design that would become iconic. Her portrait has undergone 4 major changes on the penny, reflecting her age and evolving engraving styles, from the young, laureate head to the older, dignified portrait. After the war, the penny returned to its traditional 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc composition. By 1980, inflation had once again pushed the cost of copper too high. The mint switched to a 98% zinc core with a pure copper plating. These coins were lighter, cheaper to produce, and if damaged, showed a silvery gray core. The 1978 and 1979 pennies were among the last of the solid copper era. Inflation had eroded its purchasing power to almost nothing. It cost the Royal Canadian Mint 1.6 cents to produce a 1-cent coin. It was a burden on businesses. In the 2012 federal budget, the Canadian government announced it would cease production of the penny and remove it from circulation. The final Canadian penny was minted on May 4, 2012, at the RCM's Winnipeg facility. As of February 4, 2013, the penny ceased to be legal tender. Cash transactions are now rounded to the nearest 5 cents, while electronic transactions still use the cent for accounting. So, how do we grade coins? We're going to break it down into a simple, easy-to-follow system. Let's start with the broadest categories. This coin has seen things. The date might be hard to read, major features are worn flat. It's only collectible if it's an extremely rare date that's almost never found in better condition. For common coins, it's essentially worthless. In this grade, the major elements are outlined, but they're flat. On this penny, you can see the Queen's head, but her hair detail is gone. The maple leaves are just blobs. This is a classic pocket piece. Now we're getting somewhere. About half of the detail is visible. On the Queen's portrait, you can start to see the strands of hair. The maple leaves might show some central vein detail. This is a solid, middle-of-the-road collectible coin. All the major features are bold, but the high points, like the very top of the queen's hair or the crown, are smooth from wear. It looks complete, just well loved. This is a desirable grade for collectors. The coin has most of its original detail. Only the very tips of the design show slight smoothness. You can see nearly all the fine lines in the hair and the leaves. This is the king of circulated grades. You have to look closely to see any wear at all, usually just a slight loss of luster on the absolute highest points. For all intents and purposes, it looks mint fresh to the naked eye, but a magnifier reveals its brief time in circulation. Now we enter the realm of perfection, uncirculated coins. These are graded on a 70-point scale, developed by Dr. William Sheldon. The number refers to the coin's state of preservation. These coins have no wear, but they might have a lot of bag marks, small nicks and scratches from contact with other coins in a mint bag. They may be dull, or have unappealing spots. They are technically uncirculated but not very attractive. This is the sweet spot for many collectors. The coin is sharply struck, has a nice appeal, with only minor, distracting marks. It has a good luster. Most coins from mint sets fall into this range. Now we're talking. These coins are exceptional. They have a great strike, superb eye appeal, and only very few, almost invisible marks under magnification. They stand out in a crowd. This is the pinnacle. MS-70 is theoretically a perfect coin, no marks, a flawless strike, and magnificent original luster. They are exceedingly rare. Most coins you see graded MS-70 are modern issues that were specially handled from the moment they were struck.